Good morning, students. Today we'll be starting with the second part of the course that we started earlier, that is Fair Play, where we have seen that there were two friends, Juman and Algu, and their friendship was like iconic. But later on, when they faced certain situation, Juman and his aunt was having this agreement, which was disturbed later on in life. And on that agreement, how she came, like she went to different people in the village, and she also went to then Algu, who was friend of Juman, first very good friend of Juman. So and how they changed this whole situation, how this whole situation changes when the Algu becomes the punch. So we'll be looking after that. So we should move forward with this thought, and we'll be starting with the next part of the prose. Yes, so I'll read the first part and the second part of the prose, that is Fair Play. So the panchayat was held the same evening under an old banyan tree. Juman stood up and said, "The voice of the punch is the voice of God. Let my aunt nominate the head or nominate the punch, head punch basically. I will abide by her decision. The punch knows neither friend nor enemy. What do you say to Algu Chaudhry?" the old lady announced. "Fine," replied Juman, hiding his joy over this unexpected piece of luck. "Chachi, you are aware of my friendship with Juman," said Algu. "I know that," replied the aunt. "But I also know that you will not kill your conscience for the sake of friendship. God lives in the heart of the punch, and his voice is the voice of God." And the old lady explained her case. So after this old lady went to everyone, then this panchayat was held the same evening under an old banyan tree, and where there Juman also stood up and said that the voice of the punch is the voice of God, and he wanted his aunt, to decide the punch or the head punch who it should be, so that he was trying to being fair about it, and he told the aunt that she should decide who should be the head punch, and then he will be abiding by the decision, right? Then the punch knows neither friend nor enemy. That the punch will be fair and impartial, and he will be not be partial between the friend and the enemy. Or they're basically saying that a punch or a head should be impartial. So she was asking, "What do you say to Algu Chaudhary?" The aunt said that aunt was nominating Algu Chaudhary, who is a very good friend of Jumman, as the head punch. "Fine," replied Juman, hiding his joy. So Juman agreed readily, because he was happy that, because he knew that Algu was his friend, so he thought that he must be in his favor because of their friendship that we also know of. "Chachi, you are aware of my friendship with Juman," Algu said to Chachi, just like he previously also told her that Juman is his best friend. So you are still asking me to be the head punch. "I know that," replied the aunt. So aunt agreed to that. She knows that he is the friend of Juman, but still she thinks that he would not be impartial, even he would be keeping this impartiality situation, because even when he is the friend of the Juman. So she said that, "I know that," replied the aunt, "but I also know that you will not kill your conscience for the sake of friendship." That she was sure that Algu will be keeping his conscience for this, and he will not be keeping his friendship above the truth. God lives in the heart of the punch, and his voice is the voice of God. And the old lady explained her case by saying, after saying this, that God lives in the heart of Punch, she decides that she was saying that God is equal to Punch, and whatever the Punch will say, she will be abiding by that. And after saying that, she explained her case towards in front of the whole of the villagers, and she was thinking that Algu Chaudhary will be giving a impartial decision to all this arrangement. Now here we have two words that are discussed here. That is nominate. That is the propose. When we say when there is this task, and we propose someone that this person should be the best for this task, then we are giving the name of that person for that particular task. That is what nominate means. And abide by means I should be abiding by. One should abide by the rules that are there for the society. So abide by means to accept the rules and to follow them. So these are the two words that are there in this passage. Rest of the words, if you find any words difficult, you can write them in the chat box. I will be definitely explaining those words to you after I see them. Now we'll continue with the reading. Juman, said Algu, you and I are old friends. Your aunt is as dear to me as you. Now I am a bunch. You and your aunt are equal before me. What have you to say in your defense? 3 years ago, began Juman, my aunt transferred her property to me. I promised to support her as long as she lived. I have done all I could. There have been a couple of quarrels between my wife and her, but I can't stop it. Now, my aunt is claiming a monthly allowance from me. That is not possible. That's all I have to say. Juman was cross-examined by Algu and others. Then Algu announced, we have gone into the matter carefully. In our opinion, Juman must pay his aunt a monthly allowance or else the property goes back to her. Now, the two friends were seldom seen together. The bond of friendship between them was broken. In fact, Juman was Algu's enemy and wanted his revenge. So apparently, Algu said to Juman that old, you and I are old friends, and your aunt is as dear to me as you. They both matter equally. Now I am a punch. You and your aunt are equal before me because he is a head punch now. Now he thinks that he should be partial, and he should be equal to he should see everyone equally, and his aunt and the friend Jumman should be equal before him. What have you to say in your defense? So he's asking Jumman what he has to say in his defense. Then, upon that, Jumman replied that he has promised his aunt to take care of her in her old days, and with that agreement, she decided to transfer the property to Jumman. But that he's saying that I have done all I could, that he has done everything that he could toward his aunt. There have been a couple of quarrels between the wife and her, but I can't stop it. Juman is also aware of the quarrels that are happening between the wife and her and his aunt, but he's unable to stop it. And he's claiming that that he's saying that the aunt is claiming the monthly allowance which he's not able to give, and which he does not want to give. So he's thinking that that is not possible, and he that is all that he has to say in his defense. Then Juman was cross-examined, cross-examining something that when someone asks you question and you have to answer those questions according to the situation, according to the reality you think that it is. So Juman was cross-examined by Algu and others also. Then Algu announced upon hearing those cross-examined questions and answers, he announced that we have gone into the matter carefully, that we have heard everyone and everything carefully, and uh, according to his opinion or everybody's opinion who has heard Juman's story, Juman must pay his aunt a monthly allowance or else the property goes back to her. So he is saying that Juman must pay her aunt the monthly allowance she is asking for, otherwise the property that she has transferred to Juman in the earlier days, that will be going back to the aunt again. Now, because this decision was not in the favor of Jumman, as he thought that because Algu is his friend, that he thought that he will be giving the decision in his favor, which Algu did not. He kept the truth over the friendship. Then now these two friends are rarely seen together. Seldom means rarely. They are seldom seen together, and the bond of the friendship between them was also broken. In fact, we can say that Jumman was Algu's enemy, and he wanted revenge from Algu. So their friendship was at stake because of this arrangement, that the decision that Algu has made over this arrangement. Now there's a thinking point here where you will be thinking about this statement that truth is above friendship, and you will be giving your points in the chat box what you think about this statement and what are your thoughts. How would you explain those thoughts? You will be explaining those thoughts in the chat box. I'll be giving you 2 minutes for that. But you would be doing if you were in place of Algu and Juman, or we can say basically Algu. If you are in place of Algu, what decision you would have made, and if you are in place of Juman, then how would you have felt? Would you also want to have revenge against Algu? This feeling will be there or not, that he has given the decision against you. You will be giving answers according to that. Yes. So we should move forward from here. Yes. Now you will be answering this two question also again in the chat box. That what was the decision of the Algu? So what according to you was the decision that was made by Algu in the end after hearing everything from his from the Jammun's aunt and from Jammun. So the defense they both had to make, they did. And what was the decision that Algu made in the end? You will be giving your answers in the chat box. Yes, I hope you have given your answers. So we should move forward from here now. Yes, now we will be continuing with the story. Now, days passed, and as ill luck would have it, Algu Chaudhary found himself in a tight spot. One of his fine pair of bullocks died, and he sold the other to Samju Sahu, a cart driver of the village. The understanding was that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock in a month's time. It so happened that the bullock died within a month. Several months after the bullock's death, Algu reminded Sahu of the money he hadn't paid yet. Sahu got very annoyed. I can't pay you a penny for the wretched beast you sold me. He bought us nothing but ruin. So he bought us nothing but ruin. I have a bullock, use it for a month, and then return it to me. No money for the dead bullock, he said angrily. Now we can see that Algu is also in a tight spot now. So days have passed, and as ill luck would have it. So now there's bad luck that is surrounding Algu. Algu Chaudhary found himself in a tight spot. One of his fine pair of bullocks died. So he has this fine pair of bullocks, which are the who do the farming with the farmers, right, for plowing. They died, and he sold the other two Samju Sahu, a cart driver of the village. So they had this agreement that he had sold the bullock to the Samju Sahu, who was a cart driver of the village. The understanding was that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock in a month's time. So Sahu was supposed to pay the price in a month's time, but as the bullock has now died, the Sahu does not want to pay the money because he thinks as it is of no use as the bullock has already died, so he is not required to pay the money. But Algu, who has lost his bullock also and the money also, now wants the Sahu to pay him the money because he thinks that even if the bullock has died, he still has sold that before he was dead to the Sahu. Now we'll see what happens next. We'll see how Algu is going to deal with Sahu, who is not ready to pay a penny to the Algu for its wretched beast, as he's supposedly saying it as. So before that, you will be analyzing this statement and you will be giving your answers in the chat box. You gave your friend a beautiful vase. A beautiful verse was given by you to your friend, and she further passed it to her relative. When you got to know that, you were upset with her. Do you think your getting sad was right in this situation? Yes. What do you think about the given situation that you gave your friend a beautiful verse and she further passed it to her relative? When you got to know that, you were upset with her, and do you think you getting sad was right in this situation or not? I'll be giving you time of 1.5 minutes so that you can think upon it and give your answers in the chat box. Yes, think about the situation that you have given this beautiful vase and to your friend, and she passed it to her relatives, and you are upset about this situation. But do you think you getting upset is in this situation is the right thing or not? It can be right or wrong according to it is a subjective thing, so you all may have different opinions about it, so you'll be giving the reasons why you are feeling certain way and why do you think your reason is correct or not. So you'll be moving forward, I'll be checking your responses later on. Yes, so you will be giving answer to this question as well. The bullock that Algu sold to Sahu died in dash months, whether it was 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, or 12 months. So how long did the bullock survive after he was sold to South? Yes, you will be giving your answers in the chat box. I'll be reading upon them. So we'll be pronouncing these words that were there in the passage. So I should move forward myself here so that you can see them clearly. Yes. So the first word is revenge. You should say it along with me. Revenge. Revenge. The second word is there's this error here. That is the second word is bullock. 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 When you say it collectively, it is bullock. Yes. And the third word is annoyed. Annoyed. It should be annoyed. You should be trying to say it along with me. Annoyed. Yes. And the fourth word is wretched. 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 It is wretched. Though it is there is W in the front, but W is silent. So we'll be calling it as wretched. So the, the fifth word that we are having is ruin. That is ruin. It should be ruin. So we'll be moving forward. The last word is that is conscience. Conscience. It sounds a bit different from how it looks. So it should be conscience. So I hope you are clear with the pronunciation of different words that were there in the passage. So we should move forward from here now. Yes. Now you will be creating sentences from these words from the passage. That is, we know the meaning of these words as well as we have discussed earlier. So the first word is abide, and the second is revenge. Then panchayat, annoyed, and conscience. One should abide by the rules, right? So you will be making sentence from these words. I'll be giving you 2 minutes for that. So revenge is when you have ill feelings towards someone and you want to do the same thing to them that they did to you. Panchayat is basically a group of officials that are there to make some decisions that are not in the hands of the community. Then there is annoyed. Annoyed basically means when someone is irritated and does not want to listen or does not feel like communicating with others. So that is annoyed. And conscience is the inner feeling, inner moral values that you feel that this is inner feeling that tells you that this thing is right or this thing is not right. So I hope you have made sentences from these words. So we will be moving forward from here. Yes, now you will be giving answers to these questions that you will be pronouncing these words. Now you will check whether you are able to pronounce these words correctly or not. Yes, I've given you few seconds for that to test your understanding about the same. Yes, so we'll be moving forward. Yes, now we have to do a quick recap about what we have learned today. So we have seen how there was this agreement between Juman's aunt and Juman that the property that was there that belonged to Juman's aunt, she decided to transfer it to Juman in the in a feeling that he would be taking care of her when she is old, when she becomes old. But later on in life, they when she became old and she started to be more dependent on Juman and his wife, they started to be indifferent towards her, and she has had enough of that, and now she wanted to have the property back, or she wanted Juman to give her some allowance so that she would set her separate kitchen with herself only. But Juman refused to that. That is not possible. That is not going to happen. And his wife only is responsible for handling the things that are going to happen in the house. So because of that, this situation, she went to Algu as well and different people in the village. And this panchayat was held where panchayat head was nominated, which was decided by Juman's aunt only. And she decided that Algu would be that head who will be giving the verdict over what should be the outcome of this situation, of this arrangement, where Algu remained impartial and he decided that the aunt should be given the allowance, or the property that has belonged to aunt previously, she should be getting that property back from Juman. And because of that decision that was made by Juman, that was made by Algu, that was impartial. So Algu and Juman thought that this was against the friendship code that he had with Algu. So he broke his friendship with Algu, and they stopped talking with each other. They seldomly talk with each other, and that has put a great impact on their friendship. And after that, Algu was also, we have seen that Algu was in a difficult situation, or we can see he was in a tight spot when he has given his bullock to Sahu, right? But the bullock has died within less than a month, or we can say in a month. But so the Sahu was refusing to give him the money the bullock that he has bought earlier from Algu. So he was also in a tight spot. So we'll be looking at what happens next in our next class. So till then, I hope that this all was clear to you. Now you will be answering these questions that are written in front of you. That who was chosen as Punch in Juman's case? As now I have also discussed in front of you that who was chosen as Punch in Juman's case, and it was actually the aunt who has chosen this Punch. Who was it? You will be telling it in the chat box. And what was the decision of the panchayat? So as there was this head punch, what decision was made by him, and what impact it has. Then Algu sold his bullock to whom? And who was the person to whom Algu sold his bullock? You will be answering that also in the chat box. Now you will be practicing how you will be pronouncing annoyed. Right? I have also did it, but you will be doing it yourself. Then after replying to all these questions in the chat box, you will be knowing that whether you have understood the concept today or not. We'll be continuing with the story that is left today, right? So we'll be continuing with the fair play that we are reading today. Thank you so much, class. Thank you for being good students. I hope we'll be meeting again in this English class. We have discussed different difficult words in the passages today. That is annoyed. You can say that there was revenge also. There was wretched also. Wretched, which basically means when something is modified or destroyed. You can say something that is faulty. There are different words that were discussed today. I hope you know the meaning. You now know the meaning of those difficult words that were discussed. You can come up with different words which you were not able to understand today in the next class. We can discuss upon them there as well. I'll be replying to you your queries later on, whichever query you will post, and the answers to the questions that were there in the lesson. I will be checking those as well if you have listened to me properly or not. So the meeting is going to end in 30 seconds. By the time, if you have anything, you can ask. Okay. Thank you so much, class. Thank you for today.